Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kevin Gianni from the Renegade Health Show, and today is Thursday. And today we are wrapping up our North American Urban Spice tour with an interview with Dr. Cass Ingram on oregano oil. And if you have used oregano oil before, if you haven't, this is a very informative interview, so check it out.
One of the big health kicks right now is to get into the power of medicinal mushrooms, the power of wild berries, more wild berries than just organic. And finally, the biggest friend I have in health, the first thing that I got involved with is wild oregano.
Yeah.
The Oreganol P73. It's huge.
What's the P73? What's the
P73? That's the trademark for a complex blend of wild mountain oregano that's rich in natural phenolic compounds, P, phenol. But also it stands for potency and power, mountain grown. So you have several remote areas that I like to harvest. One is the wild north of Canada, Minnesota and so on, where it's pristine. There's one flora there. The second is the wild, very wild material that you find in Turkey, in the mountains of Turkey. And that's where your wild oregano and so forth come. I'll tell you this, the wild oregano is very, very important. All these herbal medicines and natural things are important, but the oregano is kingpin because there's so many fungal infestations, viruses, bacteria, parasites, but mainly really fungus. It's in the blood, it's in the organs, it can get into the brain, it can irritate the whole system, it can irritate the gut, inflame the genitals, inflame the tracts, inflame the kidneys, but most importantly, fungus causes chronic debility, chronic weakness, chronic disease. So you got to get it out. And oregano is the king for that. The oil of wild oregano, the P73, destroys fungus. We'll talk about the signs and symptoms of fungus as we go along. So that if you would know if you really have it. Now those signs and symptoms of the fungus or fungus are broad spectrum. You generally don't feel good. Loggy, poor concentration, sluggish, stiff hands, stiff spine, stiff joints, digestion, bloating, irritability, constipation, diarrhea, tense abdomen. Now then, you also can crave things, craving for yeast, bread, loving bread and starch, sugar obviously. The fungus can represent in more physical symptoms like dandruff, seborrhea, scaling of the skin, dry eye. Fungus can even attack the cornea. And then psoriasis, eczema, obviously things like fingernail fungus, toenail fungus, athlete's foot, jock itch, vaginitis. But more subtle things you wouldn't think of, like, for example, a gray or a yellow-colored tongue, or prostatitis. A lot of men don't know that prostatitis, just like vaginitis, is largely fungal or yeast. And also irritable bowel, spastic colon, diverticulitis. All of it can be masquerading really as what is fungal. And so can diseases. One could have heart disease, inflammation, high blood pressure, and it's really fungus. You kill the fungus, it goes away. A person could have diabetes and syndrome X and insulin resistance. They think it's that kind of a disease. It's not that disease, it's fungus. You kill the fungus, the disease goes away. So cancer, be full of all kinds of tumors and precancerous lesions and polyps and sickness, and kill the fungus, it goes away. That's how fungus is the big mimicker of disease.
How long does it take to destroy someone who's kind of ridden with fungus?
How long does it take to destroy fungus if a person's absolutely ridden with it? And they've got it coming out of their orifices and out of their mouth and ears and nose and wherever else? If they're full of it, and a lot of people are full of it. Let me tell you something first. The average consumption of refined sugar in the United States, for example, is 150 pounds per person per year. That's 15 10-pound bags. Why don't you lay them on the desk and try to visualize that? Now, I don't eat any, and I know you don't eat any, so that means that somebody else is eating 300 pounds. So that is unbelievable, right? So if you've got trillions and trillions of fungi in your body, you're not going to get rid of them in a day. It might take 6 months of steady therapy. You know how long it takes for toenail fungus to be cleared out with drugs? 6 months. Yeah. So I would say, how long does it take? Between 90 days and a year to clear fungus. What do? You take the oil of wild oregano, you take maybe something called the fungi cleanse, which is a complex of several spice oils. You take the juice, perhaps, and your healthy bacteria. To build up your membranes, you take the natural fatty salmon oil with the vitamin A and D, not this cheap stuff with synthetic vitamin D, but real A and D, the polar source fatty salmon oil for the membranes, and you take some natural vitamin C from camu camu. That would be an excellent protocol. Cap it off with some healthy bacterial supplement. Yeah.
When you use the oregano on toe fungus, does it take the same?
Well, you asked the question about when you use the oregano on toe fungus, does it take the same? You can speed up the treatment of toe and fingernail fungus by not only taking it internally, but scrubbing it and clipping the nail back and filing it back. You'll speed it up. You'll get it done in there deeper.
How much oregano oil internally can you take?
If you're taking a real wild oregano oil from the mountains, the edible, like a spice oil, then you can take all you need. The only thing is you could take so much you might kill some good bacteria. But basically, I could take 20, 30 drops a day, not even think about it. Maybe if you take 40, 50 drops or something like that, you may want to take some lactobacillus. You also have the wild oregano in a capsule, the whole, crushed whole wild oregano, and you can take all of that you want. So there's the whole crude herb by capsule. There's the oil, reasonable amounts every day. It would actually be, the side effect would actually be that you'd be healthy. Yeah. Big problem is fungus. Second big problem is stealth viruses. And these things slowly attack and deplete and then destroy the system. Your oregano is a lifesaver. That's why, there's the holy books. You have the Torah, the Bible, the Gospel, the Quran. They're all beautiful. All have a lot of information about herbs and food. The Bible, though, has an interesting. It specifically says that you should use a substance to purge yourself with, to clean yourself out. You know what it is? Wild oregano. They called it hyssop, but they made a mistake. Hyssop is Esoph, and Esoph means wild oregano, not hyssop. So that's the most important thing you can take to purge and to blow it all out. The oil of oregano and the whole crude herb. And if you need to get into the brain, into the spinal column, to clean all the viruses and the bacteria and the fungus out of that, and into the deeper parts of the lungs, then you use the juice of oregano. That's all you need.
And topically, how much? You can probably apply as much as you want.
Topically, the issue of oregano, you can use as much as you want. Sometimes topical is good because the oregano is a lymph activator. It burrows into the skin and the dermis, subdermis, gets into the lymph, mobilizes it, activates it, cleans it, and that's one wonderful way to get the medicine through into the system, through the lymph, by rubbing it on the skin. You know what I do with oregano oil? I use the super strength. I rub it on the dorsum of the feet, and I scrub the shins, you see? Scrub the shins until they become hot with the oregano. Scrub the top of the femur. Scrub the chest. Some sick person, too sick to even take anything, scrub them down. That's how you get them well.
Your question of the day is, have you used oregano oil before, and has it worked for you? This is Kevin Gianni from the Renegade Health Show. Together we can change the health of the world, one show at a time.